I usually watch sitcoms to just sit back, relax, and unwind after a long day and to just, be entertained and to laugh a little. So these are my 10 favorite sitcoms. At number 10, I have Kim's Convenience. It's just such a fun show with amazing characters. The show, I feel like it got cancelled a little too soon. There was so much that still could have come from this show, and I really miss it. It was just such a blast and something totally different. At number 9, I had Blackish, another wonderful sitcom that really elevated the view of a middle class or upper middle class black family, and it was just so much fun. Andre Johnson will forever be a really, really awesome character, and the show also had many successful spin offs, which just proves at how awesome the show was. At number 8, I have one of the biggest shows ever, and that's The Big Bang Theory. The Big Bang Theory was awesome from the start. It just adds different elements that was so easily relatable because it featured these nerds and geeks. I'm not much of a science guy, but they usually geeked out about the same things that I geeked out: video games, movies, comics. So it was just a breath of fresh air on TV to see people who are so funny and who I can easily relate to. Number 7, I have Modern Family, one that really took the mockumentary style sitcom and elevated it to another level. It had so many iconic characters, and Phil Dunphy to this day is still one of the best TV dads. Number 6, I have Scrubs, one of the best medical shows ever, and the way the show handled different kinds of trauma was just awesome and so heartwarming. It was a wholesome show. Even though it sometimes tackled some very heavy subjects, it still did it in a light-hearted manner. And now entering my top 5. At number 5, I have The Office. The Office is an iconic show. I think The Office definitely influenced all modern-day mockumentary sitcoms. Michael is an iconic character, as well as Dwight. Everywhere on the internet you look, there will be a meme with Michael or Dwight or just some character from The Office. It had such a huge impact on pop culture, and it's still one of the funniest shows to date. And you can still go back and watch it. It holds up after all these years, even though there might be some cringy episodes. At number 4, I have probably the most iconic sitcom ever, and that's Friends. Now, I know people will say the show should be higher, and I don't disagree with you. I think Friends is a fantastic show. It definitely influenced a lot of shows that came after it. But for me, it's just not in my top 3. I still love it and I can still watch it over and over again. Each one of the characters definitely represents a different side of my personality today. And this show definitely started the modern sitcom era. And number 3, I have probably the darkest show on this list, and the show that most people definitely haven't watched, and that's It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's Always Sunny is one of the weirdest but the most awesome shows ever. I just can't get enough of how unhinged these characters are and how crazy it is that this show is still ongoing. This is the only show on this list that's still going. One thing I can say is if you're not watching the show, then you're definitely missing out on some really dark and wonderful comedy. At number 2, I have the show that many people know as my favorite, but it's not number 1 on this list, and you'll find out in a second why. How I Met Your Mother. How I Met Your Mother is probably the show that had the most influence on me uh, in my teenage years and early 20s. It's a show that I made sure to watch week after week. As soon as an episode dropped, I watched it. It's just one of the funniest and most awesome sitcoms ever. It definitely ranks high in my all-time favorite TV shows list. The reason I didn't put it at number 1 is because some of the storylines just don't resonate that much with me anymore. I am still rewatching it, probably now for the 5th or 6th time. I'm now going into season 9, and I do think season 9 was the weakest season, and that's also one of the factors that made this my number 2 show and not my number 1. And at number one, I have Parks and Recreation, which, if you haven't seen it yet, you're missing out on a fantastic show. It has so many awesome characters, and Ron Swanson and Andy Dwyer are just iconic characters. It's a show that didn't hold back when it came to the funny. It is, I don't even have the words to explain how wonderful and awesome the show is and how much rewatch value the show has. I can definitely watch the show over and over again. It took what The Office was and just took it to another level, a level where it is just iconic. So let me know which one of these shows you like and what shows are in your top 10.